I'm Kevin Lyman, the president of the board for Covenant Community, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Christine Love, our new executive director. We're going to spend some time today getting to know Christine a little bit, and also we'll be hearing from Chris Redondo, our new program director.
Thank you, Kevin, so much for being here with me today and with us. If it's all right with you, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Absolutely, fire away.
All righty. So first, tell me how you became involved with Covenant Community.
So I first got to know Covenant through All Saints Church. I'm a parishioner at All Saints, and for a period I was on the vestry. Covenant is one of All Saints' core ministries. We focused on a very few ministries, and Covenant was one of the key ones that we wanted to support. And as a member of the vestry, I was also a member of the board of Covenant. About 5 years ago, I joined the board. Since then, I've rolled off of the vestry at All Saints, but remained involved with Covenant because I was so impressed with what I saw as I got to know the organization better. And then just earlier this year, I became president of the board.
Congratulations on your new role, and I know that we'll be working closely together. And so my next question is, what are your top 3 priorities for Covenant during your tenure?
So the first priority I would have would be, frankly, to support you. As we've got as we have a new executive director, we're building on a position of great strength from where we come from in the past with Jonathan Davis, who is a great executive director. We're really excited about Christine's arrival, and I want to do all that I can, and the board wants to do all that we can to support the changes that you've got in mind, the programs that you want to strengthen, the initiatives that you've got on the fundraising side and other places. So that would be my number 1 priority, which probably is also priorities 2 and 3.
Yes.
A second thing I'd like to do is to continue to strengthen the involvement of the board members with the organization. You know, all of us who are on the board obviously feel very passionate about Covenant. We've seen the work up close, but there's even more that we can do to get personally involved with what's going on down here on a day-to-day basis. So that's something else that I'd like to see us get more involved with. And thirdly, a little bit associated with those first 2 things, I think there are some ideas that I've got personally for potential people that we could get involved, bringing in as speakers, events that we've got, that we can work into the plans that you all have. Again, in an advisory capacity, I know who runs the ship here, right here. But I do have some ideas that I'm looking forward to sharing, and again, working with you and the team to bring all of that to fruition in the coming years. But I couldn't be more excited about where we are now. Again, I think we're coming from a place of strength and stability, but there's so much potential to bring this even further and to work more with people out there in the community even more broadly, and to really take things to the next level. So I'm excited.
I am super excited, Kevin. Thank you so very much. So I was going to give you 3 S's: support, strengthen, and stabilize. But I really am thrilled and humbled that you've entrusted me with an organization with such a deep, rich history of over 30 years and counting, and the support of All Saints, and of course my amazing predecessor, Jonathan Davis. So thank you so very much. My final question for you, maybe 2, but the final one I'm thinking about, IHOP or Waffle House?
This is the easiest question I've ever been asked. So I could answer it by showing you a picture of my daughter wearing the Waffle House hat when she was less than a week old, my oldest daughter. Or I could also tell you that when we moved to Atlanta from New York years ago, before we moved, I wrote a letter to Waffle House asking if they would hire me to work in their corporate office, and I was rejected. But I still love them. So IHOP's a lovely place. I don't have any ill will towards IHOP, but Waffle House is the clear winner in that choice.
So Waffle House, we need some sponsorship. Are we clear?
There it is. Yes.
Thank you so very much. That's all I have for
All right,
now.
great.
I'm so excited to speak with Chris Redondo, our new residential program director, effective on Monday. And so this is going to be a great transitioning journey. So thank you so very much.
Well, we talked a little bit about my background, but the main event here is Christine, and I'm looking forward to hearing about your background. And maybe a great place to start is just to understand, what brought you to Covenant in the first place, and originally what inspired you to begin a lifetime of serving other people, and in particularly through the recovery field.
Thank you so much for that, Kevin. For me, this is deeply, deeply personal. I often refer to myself as the residue of the 80s. And so I'm what's left after crack and heroin swept through public housing projects, indiscriminately taking men, women, and children. And so those women and men were my parents, my mother and father. Lost my mother when I was 7 years old to HIV/AIDS and substance misuse, and lost my father as well. And so really experienced the child welfare system as a result of their addiction. And I didn't understand at the time that it was a disease. I was a kid, right? And so living in over 14 foster homes, group homes, and shelters really shaped the narrative for my life. And so I decided not to be a victim and to really dig deep and use that to propel me to serve others. Once I studied social work and really began to learn, it really gave me a greater sense of purpose and peace. And so I'm in this field because of my deep, abiding faith to God. And this is really in honor and of service to Him, but also to recognize that had programs and services like Covenant been around for my mother, Yvette Marie Carter, and my father, Walter Porter Fry, maybe they would still be here today. So I'm deeply passionate about this work, and I'm excited to join you on this journey.
Well, that's incredibly powerful. And I think it leads to the next question I was going to ask, which was, so where you are today, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What is driving you? What's motivating you as you step into this new role at Covenant? What's got you excited, and what's, as I say, what gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yeah. So I can tell you that what used to get me out of the bed was fear. I was just so deathly afraid of repeating the same mistakes and becoming another statistic. And within the last, decade, it shifted for me. So what gets me out of the bed now, specifically at Covenant, there is a guy next door, one of our residents, named Mr. SH. And I know that he's working this program. I see a sparkle. Oh, I'm gonna get. Hey. I'm sorry. I spoke about my parents, but my grandfather battled with alcoholism and didn't win that battle, and so there is a guy in our program that I see every day, and he doesn't know this, but there is a light in his eye, and so being a part of something where I can develop and cast vision for the entire team to make things happen for this guy and his family, his entire family, it really motivates me. We don't take shortcuts. We don't tap out, because there is somebody on the other side of that wall waiting for us and what we have to offer. And so, he doesn't know it, but he motivates me, and so many of the other guys over there, they motivate me.
Well, and I'll share that personal connection in the very real, concrete, the individuals that we see here, and the guys that are going through the program, and the men of hope who have been through the program in the past, are such an inspiration
Yeah.
to I think all of us who have the privilege of working with this organization.
Absolutely.
As you say, it puts a face, it puts stories, and you are dead right to say it's not just that individual. There's a whole network of people around that individual, right? Family members, friends, people that know them in the community. And when we're able to assist these guys and help to stabilize their lives, and then they go back out into the community and make such an incredible impact, the multiplying effect of that is just breathtaking.
That's the
So
word.
I can see how that motivates you. It's the big picture, but then it's also those individuals.
Yeah.
So that's a very powerful story. And when you think about, again, and you're new to the role, so I don't want to put too much pressure on you here, but as you're starting to get your hands around Covenant and the work that we do, what are you thinking? What are you identifying as some of the areas of opportunity that excite you the most?
I think what really excites me is this piece of developing community relationships and partnerships. Covenant has such a rich, deep history in this community, and so partnerships with Emory University and Grady and expanding the partnerships that we have existing. So that's really a primary focus, as well as really leveraging the RCO that we have and knowing that Recovery Resources has impacted over 14,000 people in 1 year. So we really want to grow that, as well as really lean into prevention and prevention before, and then also relapse prevention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Partnering with public schools and K-12 programs, and really educating and building awareness around what our mission is. So those are my key major focus areas right now. And of course, I'm here to get the money. So
it's always that.
We have to raise and leverage dollars. And finally, there's this social justice piece. And so for so long, people in communities of color have been disproportionately impacted by this disease of addiction. And we want to make sure that that's represented and reflected in a respectful and meaningful way, so that we can affect change. So those are my areas.
Yeah, well, that's great. And
I got like 10 areas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, and now, so you asked me the Waffle House IHOP question, so I'm gonna continue in that vein and ask you, since I know you came to us from New Jersey.
I did.
So the question is, you don't put sugar on your grits, do you?
Who does that?
Okay, all right.
Who
We
does
just
that?
needed to get that.
That's blasphemy. Who does that?
Okay. We just need to make sure.
But this is the craziness, because I've heard this, and actually this guy over here who you can't see, he puts sugar on his grits. It's nuts. No, we're not going to do that. So Chris, Mr. Redondo, congratulations on your new position as the Director of Residential Programs at Covenant Community.
Thank you.
I am so deeply proud of you, and I just want to know, how'd you get here?
I'm an addict. Plain and simple. I'm an addict. I worked as diligently as possible to destroy my own life and everybody else's around it, almost as if I made a career out of it. And I did not want to be saved. I didn't want to be saved. I had no hope. I had given up completely. And somehow I made it to Covenant Community. And my hope was restored. I learned that this place can save somebody that doesn't even want to be saved. That when all hope is lost, and when I had a plan that I wouldn't make it for another 5 or 10 years, so I should just go out with a bang, because I'm not going to make it to 40. I'm not going to make it 30. And that's how I was living my life. And somehow, by the grace of God, found myself in a detox, and from a detox to a transitional housing, and then from there to Covenant Community, and I've just never left ever since.
And so you are one of our program graduates. So tell me about your experience in the program.
It's amazing. Saved my life. Completely saved my life. That was June 3rd, 2017 is when I got clean, but I got here in July 2017. I was in the program until roughly March of 2018, and then followed that up with living at the Stern House, Martha Stern House.
Yes.
And I was there for about 6 months. Continued on my own. Had a full-time job, the same job that I actually got while I was in the program here, and held that job consecutively and moved up in that job until I got offered a job at Covenant as a house manager. I worked part-time as a house manager, part-time at my other job, until I finally realized that I really enjoyed the work that I was doing here, and I really thought that I could help make a difference. And then I decided to attempt to be full-time. It wasn't official. It wasn't official
Right.
for many months, but I put the hard work in, and it paid off.
So proud of you. So
Thank you.
proud of you. What do you think about this new role that you have as the entire program director? That's major.
It is major. It's major. It's a lot of responsibility. I'm looking forward to it. I have so many goals, and I'm going into this thing running as fast as possible because I've got so many plans, so many different ways that I think can help the guys succeed. And I want to try and implement those, as well as ways that I think we can help our program succeed. Because ultimately, the guys are the most important thing.
That's right.
You know, whatever happens at the end of the day, as long as they're clean, sober, healthy mind, healthy body, we've succeeded.
Yes.
And the only way that we can continue to keep that going after they leave here is to make sure that our program is teaching them as much as possible while they're here, and utilizing their time here so that they can take that with them, because the recovery doesn't stop.
Right.
You know, just because you went to a treatment center, it doesn't mean that you're fixed and it's over with. You know, you have to use what you learn and continue to use it. And if not, then we'll see you again.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't take you too long to come back.
When you are not on the clock, what do you love to do?
Oh, I love to build things.
Okay.
Absolutely, I love to build things.
Okay.
The most strenuous little, like taking a watch apart and putting it back together, or like fixing a car, building a motorcycle, anything that's overly complicated and will take
We need a mailbox built.
Anything that will take me lots of research and a lot of time, I love it.
Awesome. What's the first thing you're going to do on Monday in your new role?
I'm cleaning out the server room.
Yes.
I'm cleaning out the server room. I'm getting the cameras running.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and keep the building as secure as possible.
Okay.
The next thing after that is I'm going to reach out, I think, to some grocery stores and see what they're doing with their surplus vegetables, fruits, all the stuff that they get in.
Yeah.
That's ugly.
Yeah.
And people don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
They throw it away usually.
And see, this is why I am so grateful, because the team here at Covenant is just simply amazing. And so the thought, the initiative, I didn't ask you to do that, and you've taken the initiative. So I love it. I'm super excited. We're gonna have an amazing lunch today. Meet the entire team. And so my final question would be, do you have any questions for me?
Do I have any questions for you?
No, you're not getting a raise. No, I'm just.
Oh man, I don't think I do.
All right.
I've done a lot of research on you, and you seem like a really great person. You seem like you're exactly what this place needs, and I'm really looking forward to working with you.
All right, so here we got it. We're done.